Our next topic is all about case studies discussion. There will be exactly 3 case studies with different output and user interface design. For first case study, it is all about a computer system that has been approved by the New Century Health Clinic, wherein I need to develop a design for the new system, and of course it includes output and user interface issues. For the first task, I need to design a report that includes mock-up report and a report analysis form where when we talk about mock-up report, it provides literally a framework to fill in with graphics and copy. Mock-ups offer a chance to try out different formats. The purpose of mock-up reports is to ensure that the required input is incorporated and mistakes corrected before the final copy goes to online or to the printer. When we also talk about report analysis form, it is more on the database information like the system name, who is the analyst, or its purpose, the name of every field of the database, the field type, and its length. Report analysis form is used to study a system or its part in order to identify its objectives. It specifies what the system should do. So for the first task, let's see the design. This is the mock-up report. So the New Century Health Clinic, as you can see in the first line, it is the system name, and its purpose is the claim status summary. Then you can see in the first field is the insurance company number, or we can literally say it is the ID number. Then second is the patient name and the patient number. Then the third field is the procedure description and fee. Then the fourth field is the procedure code and the amount of claim. And the fifth field is the procedure date and the amount of reimbursement. And the sixth field, or the last field, is the date of the claim filed and the amount unpaid. So there is a subtotals where there is a subtotals and the grand totals for each numeric field. That is the design for the mock-up report. So for the next is the report analysis form. Since it talks about the database information, you can see the system documentation, wherein it has system name, the New Health Century Clinic, the date, and the analyst or the purpose of documentation, which is the monthly claim status analysis. So as you can see, there is a field, the name of all the field, and the second is all the field type of every field, like numeric, alphanumeric, and so on. So the length, there's also a length. So that's basically the report analysis form. So this is the mock-up report, and this is the report analysis form. For the next task, wherein I need to design a daily appointment list and monthly statement that should be readable and visually attractive. And it should include a mock-up report and a report analysis for each report for the daily appointment list and for the monthly statement. So first is the mock-up report for the daily appointment list. So as we can see, there is a New Century Health Clinic nga naa sa kinaunahan jud butang, which is the name of the system. And under this is the purpose of the documentation or the purpose of the system, which is the daily appointment list. So there should be also the date para may baw-an kung kinsa ang mga pasyente ana nga date anang adlaw. And of course, who is the doctor or the provider of that time. Then, the time, of course, of the patient sa ilang pag-appointment. Then, the patient name and of course, their service or the purpose of the patient nganong nagpa-appoint sila. Then for the report analysis form or the daily appointment list, as we all know, a report analysis form is all about the information of the database or the system, wherein it should have the system name, the analyst, the purpose of the documentation or the date, and of course the name of all the field, pila ka buok, then all the type or all the field type like alphanumeric, numeric, float, decimal, integer, and of course its length. So for the markup report of the monthly statement, so it talks about the monthly statement. So there should be the date and for the first is the system name or the information of the system like the date, the patient name, the code, the service, and of course it should have the fee and the balance kung pila pa ang nabayaran sa pasyente. So dapat naa dira makita sa monthly statement. Naa dito tanang pasyente, tanang tanang balance, tanang fee, pila nabayaran o purpose nila naa dito makita tanan. So this is also the design for the report analysis form for the monthly statement. For the next task, I need to design an input source document that will determine the data required for a new patient. And at the same time, we'll capture the data and data entry screen to input the information. So this is the design for the patient form entry. So the patient number, patient name, contact number, address, date, email, occupation, civil status, department. So this is the most kanang required data for every patient. Importance data nga kinahanglan naa. So this is the there is a submit nga kung mo type or mo input ang or na-input nga information sa usa ka patient ini submit, so maadto na siya sa database. So this is the design for the input source document para sa mga new patient. So for the next task, where it talks about validation checks. When we talk about data validation, it will ensure that your data is complete, like literally no blank or null values. It should be unique with contains distinct values that are not duplicated, and the range of values is consistent with what you expect. So I should also write a brief memo with a recommendation. So this is the example. So for example is to Dr. Rose from anonymous or for me or for whatever name. So there should be a date for the date and the subject for the memo. So the validity checks that I could recommend is the data type checks. This test to ensure that a data item fits a required data type such as numeric or alphabetic. So there are field or there are information nga nasa database that needs to be sakto tugma ang iyang data type. So, for example, ID number sa usa ka patient or code name dapat numeric na siya, dili ka pwede mobutang og mga alphabetic type like string or ingana mga alphabetic. So it should be a numeric like decimal, double, like that. So for the validity checks, it used for data items that must have certain specified values. For the next is the range checks, which test data items to verify that they fall between a specified minimum maximum value. So natay gitawag og length, sa mao length of pila ang dawaton nga information. So for example sa ka field like patient number, mabutang ra kag gamay nga field ja dako di ay. So naa sa jay kanang check nga kanang imong gibutang information or data is mo kabat masidya sa minimum ug maximum value nga gibutang sa usa ka field. And the existing checks, which are used for mandatory data items such as social security number. So that is the validity checks I could recommend.